What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going over 3 rare freeze frame transitions. These are transitions that are super clean and I don't think are utilized enough. And yeah, I just definitely think these effects should be being used because I think they're super clean. This video is going to be sponsored by my editing packs. Essentials presets did get an update, so if you did purchase that, you'll have a new updated version in your email. All the sales on those packs just fund me and help me keep putting out content for you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me through my packs and watch my videos. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So here I've just got some clips of one of Fredo Bang's music videos in Premiere Pro. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in After Effects using Dynamic Link. You guys know I'm a big fan of it, so I'm just going to go ahead, right click all of these and go ahead and replace with After Effects composition. And just like that, you'll see all of our clips have been placed into After Effects. The first effect I wanted to go over is this flying object effect. And you basically just freeze frame whatever object out you want and animate it. Commonly you see it used with chains and other things like that. You guys can make it whatever you want. So the first thing is we want to go ahead to the clip that we're transitioning to and find the object that we want to fly in. In my case, I want it to be dependent on its chain. But I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate my clip. It's duplicated. I'm going to go to the top layer, right click, go to time and freeze frame, and move this on top of my other clips. And here I'm just going to go ahead and grab the pen tool. Zooming in, I'm just going to make a rough mask around this pendant. So now hiding that background layer, you can see we have just the pendant masked out and it looks pretty clean. Make it a little bit cleaner. I'm going to go down into the masks in that mask one. Just going to go ahead and increase that mask feather a little bit, maybe something like 12, and decrease the mask expansion just a slight bit. Next, I'm going to drag that pendant over top just like so. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a transform onto it. What I'm going to do is actually put the anchor point in the center of the pendant. Then I'm just going to go ahead and adjust it back to where it should be. And this way now if I mess with the rotation, it will rotate directly around the center of the pendant. So what I'm going to do is just go to right where it transitions and keyframe that rotation so that way it's upright and in the right position. Then going to the very beginning of this clip, I'm just going to go ahead and rotate it back a few times. Pretty good right there. If I play that back, you can see we just have a simple spin animation. What I'm going to do is go down into the effects, transform, highlight both of these keyframes and F9 to easy ease them, or you could right click, go to keyframe assistant and easy ease. Then I'm also going to go ahead and tick this motion blur box. Back you can see a little bit of a smoother animation. Next I'm just going to drag another transform on, and now we're going to make it fly up and down. I'm going to go ahead and set the position and scale at the end where it transitions. Then I'm going to go towards the beginning. I'm going to scale it down a little bit, maybe something like 70. And I'm also going to position it down here. About halfway through, I'm going to go ahead and move that position so it's higher than it's supposed to be. So something up here. Playing that back, you can see we have a little bit of a flying animation, but it's not very smooth. What I'm going to go ahead and do is go down into the transform 2 and highlight all of these keyframes in F9 to easy ease them as well. Now to take it a step further, I'm actually going to go ahead and highlight the position keyframes and go to the graph editor. And here I'm just going to go ahead and make a graph that smooths out the motion a little bit and makes it look a little bit more realistic. Now that we've got a graph that looks like this, you can see it looks super sick. The pendant flies into frame and then transitions perfectly. So we can close out of that graph editor, and that's pretty much the finished transition. I'll leave it right here, but I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of extra sauce on it. One thing I like to do is just grab a drop shadow and drag that onto whatever the object is. When I'm making this drop shadow, I'm just going to go ahead and increase that softness quite a bit. I just do this because I think it adds a little bit more of 3D realism to it. So playing that back, you can see with the drop shadow, it looks like it's actually kind of like 3D and in the scene. So now that we've gone ahead and made all those changes, I'm going to go ahead and Command S and hop back into Premiere. Now you can see everything we just did got automatically saved in Premiere. And in here, I'm actually going to go ahead and add a little bit of shake to this transition. So what I'm going to do is just go to the project and create an adjustment layer. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this onto my clip. So what we want to do is just go ahead and find the part right where it transitions. From here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 frames back and drag my adjustment layer, and 1, 2, 3 frames forward and do my adjustment layer like that. So we get a small little hit. And we do have these new rotational shakes, but I think we need something more subtle for here. Might just go ahead with the diagonal subtle and see what that looks like on here. And just like that, I think that looks super clean with that subtle shake. We could also go ahead and try with a shake flash. So I'm just going to go ahead and try the subtle shake flash and see what that looks like. This is one of the new presets. And just like that, we've got a super subtle shake with the flash, and I think this one looks pretty clean as well. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and save this and hop back into After Effects for the second transition. The second transition I wanted to go over is one of my favorites, and I have showcased it a little bit on my channel before, but I just really wanted to go over it again and kind of give you guys some extra sauce that I've gotten. And this is going to be the zoom out transition. Now you can use a freeze frame for this and basically zoom out of anything you want. I think it's going to look super clean if we zoom out of the artist pendant. So we're going to go ahead and teach you guys how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate my layer, then drag this on top. Gonna go ahead and right click, time, and of course freeze frame this. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and get my pen tool, zoom in, and I'm on this top layer. I'm gonna go ahead and make a mask of his pendant. Now with scrubbing over, you see we've just got a rough mask of that pendant. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually go down into the mask, and I'm gonna go ahead and click invert. So now we've got everything but the pendant actually masked out. What I'm gonna do is just drag this on top of the first clip. Now that we've got this over the first clip, I'm just gonna trim it so that it transitions properly. What I'm actually gonna do on this freeze frame layer is go ahead and click this cube icon, and this is just gonna toggle the 3D layer. And I found that this actually makes it a lot easier rather than messing with the scale. What I'm gonna do is go down into the transform. I'm just gonna go ahead and keyframe the position and where it transitions, then go towards the beginning of where our freeze frame appears and just drag it back up. We basically just want to move it so that we can see the entire background clip. Make sure none of this mask is showing. Once you guys have it like this, if we play it back, you can see that it just kind of zooms out from this freeze frame. And right now it's not looking very clean, but we can go ahead and adjust it, make it a lot better. Or you could right click, go to keyframe assistant and easy ease. Also gonna go ahead and take the motion blur on my freeze frame layer. Playing that back, you see it already looks a lot better. I might go ahead into the graph editor and make it a little bit slower at first and faster towards the end. I think that looks a little bit cleaner like that. Also just gonna go ahead and trim it one frame because it seems to be behind a little bit. Last part of this is just gonna go ahead and duplicate that freeze frame layer on into the mask, and we're gonna go ahead and uncheck the invert. As you can see, because of the motion blur, a little bit is showing through, so we can go ahead and fix that by going into the mask and increasing that mask expansion just a little bit. Go to the very beginning, down in the transform, and keyframe the opacity. I'm gonna go ahead and set that to 0. Then as the scene goes on, I'm gonna go ahead and right here probably set it to like 100. You can see we have just this super clean freeze frame zoom out transition. I think it looks super sick. If you guys do want to add just a little bit of extra sauce, we can go ahead and F9 easy ease these. What we can also do is just kind of match the background's motion with the motion of the freeze frame. And I think this just makes it a little bit better. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go to the bottom background clip. And right here where the transition starts, I'm just going to go ahead and toggle that position. And right here, which is the last frame where you can see him, I'm going to go ahead and scale it down a little bit. And literally just go ahead and adjust and kind of match the movement of the transition so that it looks like he's getting pushed down. What we want to go ahead and do is actually throw a motion tile on top of this clip. Just going to drag that on. What I'm going to do is just increase the output height and the output width and mirror the edges on my background layer just so we aren't getting this transparent area right here. Now playing that back, you see we have this super clean freeze frame transition, and I think it just looks super sick. So this third transition, I don't see that many editors using. I have seen it used in the past, but I really think it's going to be on the come up because it's just super sick. And this is also going to involve rotoscoping, so not completely freeze frame. We are going to have to do a little bit of rotoscoping. So right here, if I go ahead and hide my background layer, you can see that I just went ahead and rotoscoped out my artist for the first clip. And the second clip, I just left it completely normal. And this is going to be the basis of the effect. The first step of this is actually just getting this clip situated so that the transition will work. What I'm going to do is really sandwich the clip that we're transitioning from in the middle like this. And then duplicate this layer. I'm going to right click, go to time and make a freeze frame and drag it even further between these clips and just kind of go ahead and adjust it so that it seamlessly transitions into our actual clip like that. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and throw a transform onto our freeze frame layer. I'm going to keyframe that scale and rotation. I'm just going to go ahead to the beginning and scale it down until you can't see it behind the artist. So I've got something like 7, and then I'm just going to go ahead and rotate it a couple of times like that. Playing that back, you can see we kind of have the base of the effect where it kind of spins in, and then we have our rotor brush still in the frame. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just toggle the motion blur. Also go down into the effects, transform, highlight these keyframes, and F9 to easy ease them. And as you can see, just by doing that, it just made it a whole lot smoother. Now from here, we just need to animate our subject kind of flying off the frame. What I'm going to do is click on our subject layer, which is our rotor brush layer. I'm going to go ahead and toggle that 3D. I'm going to go ahead and toggle the 3D mode again. Then I'm going to go ahead and keyframe the position. Then going towards the end of the clip, I'm just going to go ahead and position him so that he flies out of frame like so, dragging him forward and to the left. Gonna highlight these keyframes, F9 to easy ease, and toggle the motion blur. Now playing that back, you can see we've got this super sick freeze frame transition where the freeze frame really flies in from the background, and I think it just looks super sick. It is super clean. So now that we've gone ahead and done all that, I'm gonna go ahead and Command S, save that, and hop back into Premiere. Now that I saved and I'm back in Premiere, you can see we have our clip automatically in the scene like so. I'm gonna go ahead and go right to where it transitions, so right here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw an adjustment layer in between. So we've got an 8 frame adjustment layer. This one I am going to use the new shake, which is the rotational, to drag that on. Now playing that back, you can see it just adds a whole lot of emphasis on that transition. I think it looks super clean. I'm also going to go ahead and try it with a flash. So I'm going to throw the rotational flash on. Playing that back, it just looks super clean. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about these rare freeze frame transitions and if you're going to be using them. Also comment down below with any suggestions you have. If you guys want to learn the 5 essential music video transitions you need in 2023, click right here. I think YouTube wants you to check out this video down here. Follow me on Instagram, join the Discord, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.